We've been hearing all our lives that, in order to get what we want, we must be a good person. We've all heard the basics. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't harm others. Always be honest. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Ever since birth, we've been told that the universe rewards goodness, that you should help that old lady cross the street, give money to a homeless person, and never lie to get what you want. But what if I told you that's only half the truth, and that we've been misled our whole lives? Now, I'm not saying you should be bad or do evil things. What I am saying is that the truth is, the universe doesn't care whether you're good or bad. It responds to your inner dialogue and self-respect, your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior toward yourself. That's why some people, who might seem selfish or bad, are able to live the lives they want, while so many honest, hardworking people still struggle to make ends meet. Let's think about it for a second. Think about all of the so-called bad people who are living the lives they want. So-called evil CEOs and businessmen or criminals of the underworld. These people aren't missing any meals, and their pockets are rarely empty. Or what about corrupt government officials in every part of the globe who live in luxury while their people struggle to get by? Why do they live lavishly while the good people suffer? Or what about the guys who treat women poorly and as less than, but somehow always manage to have a new girl every week? He lies to the women, is mean and arrogant and stingy with his time. Versus the good guy who's always respectful and nice to women and treats them with respect, but is seen as a nerd and can barely get a date. I think you get the point. Now, on the flip side, think about all of the hardworking, honest people who never lie to anyone, never steal, treat everyone with respect, even go to church every Sunday. They pray all day, every day, and help everyone they come across. But when it comes to their own situation, they're still stuck in the same cycle of struggling to eat and pay their bills. They are always wondering how they will feed themselves or their kids. No matter all the good they do, it seems like they can never catch a break. Car breaks down right after they pay the rent, or they get fired from their job. It seems like no matter what they do, things just never go right, while the so-called bad people always prosper. See, the truth is, the universe doesn't care if you're good or bad. The universe has laws in place that go beyond the human perception of what's good or bad. Is it bad for a hungry lion to hunt a zebra and its offspring so it won't starve? Or would it be good for the lion to starve, just so the zebra can live? It's a hard truth, but good and bad are nothing more than creations of the human mind, trying to make sense of the world. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but the more you look into it, the more you start to understand. Only we, as people, label things as good or bad. The same fire that can burn down a whole village and cause massive loss can also be the same fire that cooks food and feeds thousands. Now ask yourself, is fire good or bad? Or do we just label it that way? Water can both drown you and give you life. Electricity can harm or kill people. Or it can light up an entire village and give people a new beginning. If two people run into moving traffic, they'll both meet the same fate, whether one's a criminal or a saint. The universe doesn't care. The thing is, the universe only responds to the frequency that you emit. And what is frequency, you may ask? Your frequency isn't just one thing. It's made up of many things. Your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, your actions, your self-belief. The list goes on and on. Before we actually get into how bad people win in life and good people continue to suffer, we need to get a better understanding of what frequency really is. Frequency is sort of a buzzword that every online teacher in spirituality likes to use. All you hear is frequency this and frequency that, but no one actually explains what it is in a practical way that's easy to understand. Without adding a bunch of useless information, we all know everything in the universe operates on a frequency. Your phone, your TV, radio stations, even things like sunlight, everything operates on a frequency. The thoughts you have every day are putting out a frequency that bounces back to you and creates the circumstances in your life. The universe is like one big mirror. Even though it sounds simple, it's not that simple. Most people only tell you things like your thoughts create your reality, but your frequency is much more than just your thoughts. It's also about your emotions, your habits, your self-image, your beliefs, your inner dialogue, your expectations, the list goes on. All of these send signals to the universe about what frequency you're on, and just like a mirror, it bounces back to you and creates your reality. A TV has hundreds of channels and thousands, if not millions, of different types of videos you can choose from, whether that's Netflix, YouTube, documentaries, or music videos. In order to watch what you want, you have to tune into that frequency and send the signal to the universe of what you want to watch. There are millions of TVs in America, but millions of different channels being tuned into. An old lady is not going to be on the same frequency to watch a horror film as a young college student on movie night who loves the thrill. A country boy or girl in Texas is not going to be on the same frequency of music as the inner city kid who loves hip-hop. One of them will tune into a country station, while the other will tune into a rap or hip-hop station. If you have 50 numbers in your phone, you have to tune into the frequency of the person you want to text to send a signal out to the universe so they receive your message. It may sound silly, but if you want to text your mom and accidentally set the contact to your dad, then your mom simply won't get the text message because it has to be on her frequency. The universe works the same way. We all live on the same earth, but everyone is tuning into a different frequency. That's why some people succeed and others don't. It has nothing to do with being good or bad. It's all about frequency. Now, there's one more very important thing about frequency I forgot to mention. And before I continue, you might be asking yourself, what does all this frequency talk have to do with why bad people win and good people don't? Don't worry. It will all make sense very shortly. The one important aspect of frequency I forgot to mention is your attention, which is very important when it comes to your frequency and why certain people win while others lose, even if you think they're a good person or not. Every day, you choose what to give your attention to and what to ignore. You walk into a store and walk right past the celery and raisin bran bread, going straight to whatever food satisfies your hunger. The raisin bran bread isn't even on your frequency. Attention is so important because it has a direct effect on the results you get in life. Imagine a girl going on a date with a guy she really likes. She's feeling super confident. She picked out her outfit, did her makeup, and has been listening to her favorite songs. She looks in the mirror and feels really good about herself. She walks with her head held high, super excited for her date. But as she's leaving the house, she notices a small pimple on her chin that she missed earlier in the mirror. Now all of her attention is focused on that pimple. She starts thinking the worst. What if he goes in for a kiss and notices it? What if he thinks it's gross, or that I don't clean my face properly? The pimple wasn't the problem, it was there. The whole day, even when she felt confident. It's only when she noticed it and gave it attention that it started to affect her. Now this confident girl is insecure, thinking of the worst. That's exactly how attention works. The more you focus on something, the more it grows. The less you focus on it, the smaller it becomes. And that statement speaks volumes. See, most bad people have a great frequency, and most good people have a terrible frequency. It sounds crazy, right? But let me explain. Remember how I spoke about frequency earlier and mentioned how it's not just your thoughts, but a combination of things like your self-image, your emotions, your beliefs, and your attention. Most bad people are very cocky, arrogant, and sure of themselves. And like I said, the universe is a mirror. It doesn't care if you're bad or good. It just mirrors your internal state. Most so-called bad people, like so-called evil CEOs or very wealthy individuals, believe in themselves completely. They are full of confidence and know exactly what they want. They have a specific goal in mind and don't stop until they reach it. They don't waste time thinking, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I fail? They don't ask themselves if they're being a good person or doing the right thing. They just focus on the goal and go after it relentlessly. Most people would call that self-centered, but the universe calls it winning. On the flip side, most so-called good people have a bad frequency. They're filled with doubt, insecurity, and constant worry about whether they'll ever make it in life. Sure, they might go to church every Sunday, give money to the homeless, and rarely tell lies. But when it comes to their own life, they're not sure of themselves. Their attention is focused on lack and on what they don't have. They think the universe owes them something for being nice. They tell themselves, I just donated money. I just helped that homeless person. I've been going to church all month. Why isn't the universe blessing me? But that's not how the universe works. Sadly, you don't get rewarded for being nice. You get rewarded for being in the frequency of what you want in life. Bad people don't care about being nice. They care about reaching their goals. And that's exactly why they reached them. Remember, the universe doesn't owe you anything. You owe yourself everything. Think about the nice guy who believes that because he's polite to a woman, always compliments her, opens doors for her, and texts her 1,000 times a day, she should like him. He gets frustrated when she doesn't. Meanwhile, the so-called bad guy is focused on himself and his goals and couldn't care less about what the girl thinks. And somehow, he's the one who ends up getting her. That's exactly how the universe works. Most good people aren't even truly good. They just do things expecting to be rewarded, and that reward never comes. I don't want to drag this video on and on with useless information just to make it appear longer, so I'll be ending it shortly. But before I go, let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Let's say two young men in college both want to be millionaires. They both have ideas for an online business. Guy A is very cocky and arrogant. He doesn't care what anyone thinks. He doesn't care about being nice, and he doesn't care what other people think of him. He only cares about getting his business off the ground so he can become a millionaire. He knows he doesn't have the money right now to be giving it away, and he doesn't have the time to give his attention to people who don't help him reach his goal. Guy B, on the other hand, thinks the universe will bless him for being nice. Instead of locking himself in his room and focusing on his business, he tries to divide his attention between his friends, trying to do the so-called right thing. Before he makes decisions, he wants to get the opinions of everyone close to him to make sure what he's doing sits well with them. He even gives away a decent amount of money, knowing he doesn't really have it to spare. Now ask yourself which. One will become the millionaire. It's not about being good or bad. It's about your frequency. Remember that always. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more no BS, straight to the point videos. Thanks for watching.